What's going on, guys? Welcome back. And today I'm going to be discussing the Ninjago and Endgame series more. Um, so I still haven't started animating the first episode, and you're probably like, "Oh my gosh, why haven't you started still? Why have you still not started animating the first episode?" Because I want to get the first three, because the first three are very much a continuation of one another, and then after episode 3, they're going to go in a different direction. So I just wanted to write the first 3 episodes, and then I'll get to work on the first one. So I've finished the story for the first, or for the second 2 episodes. So I would like to share that with you guys. I gave you a loose draft of episode 2 a while ago. Episode 3, though, episode 2 and 3 I've finished. So far, episode 2 will probably be the longest one. But yeah, there's a lot of plot lines to juggle. The first one's a very streamlined story, but then it's going to get a lot more exciting as it goes along. So obviously, quick recap of the first episode. If you did not know what the first episode was, I still haven't written the script, but I've written the story, so I need to get the script done, and then I'll start working on the first episode. I'm just really busy right now. Like, my life is really busy right now. Like, I've got a ton of stuff going on right now. So, I can't, like, be working on it at all times. And once again, here's a quick announcement. Even if Endgame comes out, I might take certain story beats from the film after that comes out, but like mostly the story will stay the same as I have it planned. So like if the first episode comes out before Endgame and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, Endgame's out now." Yeah, you can change the story. No, I'm going to keep the story the same as I have it planned right now. But anyway, quick recap of the first episode. The ninjas are in San Francisco where Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place. They're trying to stop a bank robbery. There's a whole twist there. Check out my past videos. I've done 3 videos discussing the series before in the past, so just go watch those. But the ninja are in San Francisco. They're trying to stop a bank robbery. They stop it. Suddenly, Jay, Nia, and Lloyd turn to dust. So they go to the rooftops. The surviving ninja, Cole, Kai, and Zane, go to the rooftops, and they find Scott Lang in the Quantum Realm. They're able to get him out, and they head to the Avengers facility. On the way there, they find Nick Fury's pager, and decide to bring it with them to the facility. They arrive at the facility, and that's where the first episode will end. So, starting off with the second episode, this opening scene, so basically what I'm planning on having is, it'll be like an Ninjago episode opening, but it will be with Thanos narrating. So, with the first episode, I'm planning on having the first scene end, and then suddenly the big Avengers opening comes up, and that will be like the opening of the first one. But like for the other episodes, I'm gonna have it be the Ninjago opening, like previously on Ninjago, episode such and such something, like that sort of thing. But this time it'll be Thanos narrating the opening. So he's gonna like be like, the first one's gonna be called Ashes of a New Beginning. So like, episode 1, Ashes of a New Beginning. Like, there's gonna like Thanos will be narrating, the opening to all the episodes. So with the second episode, I'm thinking of having it opening on Thanos' farm, and he's going to be like, "I did it. I single-handedly wiped out 50% of all living creatures." Once again, I don't have a Thanos big fig yet, but I haven't really started on the first episode. So it depends on how the order of this production goes, but if by the time I have that started and I still don't have a Thanos big fig, that scene won't be there. Because it could also work at the beginning of episode 5. After episode 4, I'm going to have them figure out what to do with the Quantum Realm, and they're just going to be like, "I've heard word of mouth that the Avengers will try to stop me. So I'll be prepared, and I'll need more protection." Then they'll like go up to the Scarecrow where his armor's hanging up, and he's gonna like get ready to face the Avengers. So I think it would work better at the beginning of episode 5. Let me know in the comments. Do you think that the Thanos scene should be at the beginning of episode 2 or at the beginning of episode 5? So anyway, after that, it'll cut to Tony and Nebula on the Benatar. Tony's just recorded his recording for Pepper Potts, and then he goes back to Nebula and he says, "Okay, look, we have to, I know that this, like, there's a small chance of me surviving, but we still have to have hope, and we have to try. So, check any nearby planets, check the surface of any nearby planets for, any possible, like, resources, anything we could use to rebuild the ship." They find the planet from Ninjago Season 3, where the Arcturus space shuttle crashed, and they're gonna go there. But the ship is going really slow, and it's low on fuel. So by the time they would be able to get there, Tony would already be dead. So they say, okay, so, by the way, Sick Bricks, if you're watching this, I'm not trying to copy your story beats, but you said that Tony would get hurt every time he does a jump. That's not what I'm going to have happen here. I'm going to have the ship be damaged, so the only way they can do a jump is so Nebula has to rewire her arm to make the jump, and it'll damage her. So, because you said that most of the people on the ship in that scene were alien, Yondu wasn't really alien. He's just like a blue human, and Kraglin wasn't really injured. The only like lasting impression was that Groot barfed, so he just threw up. So he didn't actually no one was actually had any lasting effects after that. So I'm gonna say that it doesn't actually hurt them. So they're like, okay, look, we need to jump to the planet. And they're going to do another jump later, but that's like a full jump to another galaxy, not just to a planet. So she's going to be like, I'm going to do this. And this could work later in episode 3, but I'm going to just go through the beats here. So they're going to find the planet, and she's going to be like, I'm going to do it. And he's like, Nebula, you don't have to risk your life and do this. And she's like, once we get there and fix up the ship and we get back to Earth, I will track down Thanos and I will kill him. Not just for our sakes, but for everyone in the galaxy who's lost someone. And Tony will be like, we'll do it together. Whatever it takes. So that's when they're going to bring up the whatever it takes line, and then Nebula will respond, whatever it takes. So that's the first time we're going to hear the whatever it takes line said in the series. It could work later in episode 2, though, but they're going to jump to the planet, and that's where that scene's going to end. It'll then cut back to the Avengers facility. At the end of the first episode, obviously, the Ninja and Scott Lang appeared at the base, or at the compound. So they're going to be there, and they're going to be discussing stuff. So they're going to be explaining to Scott and the Ninja how the snap worked, how Thanos worked, what he did, and they're going to explain that at complete random, half of humanity disappeared. And Kai's going to make a joke like, hey, well, if it's random, then does he just look at a bunch of names on a list and pick them out randomly? And then Rocket is going to make a joke like, I like this one. I like this guy, you know? like something like that. I think that'd be funny. And then I'm going to have both Cole and Cap react to that and be like, guys, don't joke around. And then one of them is going to be like, oh, sorry, were you going to handle that? Because, they're both the team leaders. So that'll be a little funny. And I'm planning on having that develop later in the series. Like, Cole's kind of struggled to be the leader of the team now that Lloyd's gone. So that's going to be a major part of the series, hopefully going forward. So they're going to make a little joke there, and they're going to be like, no, stop joking around, this is completely serious. Rhodey and Banner will walk in from the other room and say, okay, look, we plugged in the pager to the backup battery, so it's bypassed the battery and it'll keep the message sending. So Nick Fury's pager, obviously, so that's basically like leading into later in the series, and obviously in the Captain Marvel post-credit scene when she arrives. She will arrive at the end of this episode, as you'll see later. Then Black Widow says, okay, look, guys, we need to find Clint Barton. We need to find Hawkeye. He's in Japan. And in the last episode, I said so on the monitor, the Avengers are going to be looking at all the people who were killed, and it'll list all the names, but they'll find Clint's signature because he never turned off his transponder, and he's in Japan. So they're going to be like, okay, we found Clint, and we need to go there, and who should we send to go pick him up? And, Steve actually says, Natasha, you should go. You know him the best, and if his family's really gone, like the monitor says, because on the missing population, Laura, Hawkeye's wife, and his children appeared. So, he's gonna be like, okay, look, you know him the best out of all of us. You have the biggest emotional connection to him, and I also think Cole and Kai should go, because they know the Japanese ways, and they know the Japanese arts, and if something was up, if, Clint's gone rogue and he's killing people, they would know if something's up. So he says that they should go with her, and so they decide, okay, we're going to go. So they head out, they get ready, they're going to fire up the Quinjet. So they leave. Nia's dead. Black Widow, Cole, and Kai leave. But Zane stays because, he's like the smart one, and he's going to help Rhodey and Bruce in the lab on the pager and the other things. Then Thor will walk in. We saw him briefly in the last episode. So Thor's going to walk in, and Cap's going to ask, how did the mission go? And it'll be revealed that he was on a mission looking around the atmosphere and, Earth's galaxy to see if he could find Tony anywhere, or if anyone is responding to the pager signal. So those two things. If you could find any trace of Tony or someone responding to the pager signal, and he says he couldn't, so Steve is going to be like, okay, look, we need to we need to keep an eye, Zane, Rhodey, and Bruce, you need to keep an eye on every satellite recording, every broadcasting station, anything, if there's any contact from anyone trying to respond to the pager's signal, or if Tony is still out there. So he's gonna do that. He's gonna tell them they need to keep an eye on all the satellites and stuff. So yeah, that's gonna happen. So he's gonna tell them to do that. If Tony is possibly still out there, and that's where that scene's gonna end. Then it will cut to, I think, I don't know, I think I had it written down in this order of events, but then it'll cut back to Tony and Nebula. They've landed on the planet, and they're going to, it'll be, I was showing my friend this, and he said that, oh wait, how would Tony be able to survive on the planet? And they said, oh, he's going to use Star-Lord's mask. And he said, well, if he has Star-Lord's mask, then what's the worry of him dying? Because the mask just helps him breathe. It doesn't help him survive in space. But then I thought, they were able to survive on Titan, and the Ninja were able to survive in Season 3. So I'm going to say that the atmosphere of that planet is breathable. So Tony and Nebula arrive on the planet, they get off, they find all the parts, but they reveal that, once they jump, Nebula's injured, obviously, or slightly damaged because of the jump. It's not a large jump, though. It's not like a galaxy jump, so she's not terribly injured. But she's slightly damaged, and the engine is damaged, so they can't go anywhere currently. And she's going to be like, Tony, whatever you're going to do, it better work. And he's like, when do my plans ever go wrong? I fought my way out of a cave and built a suit from a box of scraps. And she's going to be like, your plans went wrong yesterday because half of humanity is severe. He's like, okay, that's not fair. A little bit of banter there. So then they're going to head out. They're going to head on to the planet. I forgot what the name of the planet is. I'm sorry. The Arcturus planet. I'm going to call it the Arcturus planet. So they get off the ship and they get onto the planet. And they're going to be looking around and they're like, oh, hey, this says Arcturus on it. Just to kind of be a little nod to the season. So it is acknowledged that that is the same planet. But then, in Season 3, there were those bugs that were, eating the metal. So they're going to find out about that, and they're going to be like, okay, Tony, you're going to get to work on the ship and fix up the engine in the ship, and I'm going to hold off the bug creatures, but at the same time, they eat metal, and Nebula is part cyborg, or she's a cyborg, so they're going to be kind of trying to eat at her. So they have a time limit. So Tony's going to be working hard on that, and Nebula's going to be holding them off on the planet. So then it'll cut back to the Ninja and Black Widow, and they're heading to Japan, and they're going through the clouds. You see that shot from the trailer where the Quinjet's flying through the clouds over a city? That's going to be Japan. Kai is piloting because, he is the one with the most experience out of piloting ships there because he pilots the Kai fighter and all that. So he's going to be like, we're approaching now, and Black Widow and Cole are going to kind of talk a little bit about, what they've lost, just to give the more camaraderie between the Avengers and the Ninja. I just want to develop them more. So they're going to have some dialogue. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it'll be something about what they've lost and something about Hawkeye. They land, and then they're like, okay, Cole starts looking around for signs of where he might be. Then there's a news report on a TV nearby saying the masked vigilante known as Ronin is killing or is fighting some criminals on such and such a street. They're going to be like, okay, that's got to be him. And they go to that street. You see that shot from the trailer. He's standing over the dead body, sharpening the sword on his arm, or wiping the blood off his sword. Turns around. That's where that scene ends. Then we'll come back to the Avengers facility. Obviously, Black Widow won't be there. But at the end of that scene earlier when they left, right before it cuts back to Tony and Nebula, I'm going to have Scott be like, so, Steve, I think I should talk to you about the quantum realm. Or I think I should talk to you about what that thing in the back of the van really is used for. And they're going to be like, what? So it'll be like a big sort of thing, like, oh man, that's where the quantum stuff is going to come in soon. But it'll cut back to the Avengers, and they're just kind of chilling, and then the same thing from the Captain Marvel credit scene. Rhodey walks in, guys, the thing stopped working, and they're like, okay, get the signal booted back up. But instead, they're going to hear Rocket's gun go off. They're like, what was that? They turn around, Captain Marvel's there, where's Fury? And that's where episode 2 is going to end. So episode 3 will pick back up, so that's where episode 2 ends. Episode 3 will pick back up in Japan. Hawkeye turns around, or at the end of the last episode, I'm going to have something where Kai's like, oh my god, his suit's so cool, and Cole's going to be like, Kai, no, stand back. She needs to talk to him alone. So she's gonna walk up to him. Hawkeye's gonna turn around. He's gonna explain what happened to his family, and then Black Widow's gonna convince him to join back up with him. She's like, "But Hawkeye, I feel like Hawkeye is justified to be mad at the team because they didn't tell him about Thanos, and his family suddenly disappears. I think Hawkeye has every right to be mad at the Avengers. So I'm gonna have him actually have a little bit of anger towards them, but she's gonna convince him to join back up with them, and they will start to head back to the Quinjet to head back to the facility." Then we'll come back to Tony and Nebula in space. They've just fixed up the ship, and they get back on the ship. And they find out that the screen they usually use, the Guardians usually use to check how far a galaxy is away, or which galaxy is nearby, they check that, and now that Tony's fixed the ship, that's working again, and it's revealed that Earth is only a galaxy away. So Earth's galaxy is only a jump away, but then Tony reveals that the engine is only fixed enough for one more jump, and once it takes the jump, it'll explode within a minute. The entire ship will explode within a minute of making another jump. This is where we can have that whatever it takes line. So Nebula being like, he's like, you don't have to risk your life, because like the last one wasn't really much of a risk because it's only a jump to a planet. This is a jump to a galaxy, and the engine's already damaged, and she's already slightly damaged from the bugs and the last jump. So I think this is where we'll have the whatever it takes line. Let me know. Do you want the whatever it takes line from Tony and Nebula to be in the second episode or in the third one at the beginning here? So, whatever, they're going to do something, but so it will be revealed that the engine will explode within a minute of making a jump. And Tony says, all we can do is hope that there's someone out there still watching. So he says, the second we make the jump, I'm going to make a distress message. Anyone out there, we need help. We need backup up here. 1 minute, this ship is going to explode, and we need help. So he's going to make a distress call the second they make the jump. And all we can do is hope that if anyone's out there, if any of the Avengers are still left on Earth, they will be watching for them. And obviously we know they are. So it'll come back to the Avengers facility. They're talking to Captain Marvel about how is she able to get past them, because they're like watching the satellites 24/7. They're gonna be like, how did you get past our satellites and stuff? Because we're watching them 24/7. And then you'll have that whole thing. Thor will walk in. He'll be like, I like this one. And then suddenly Tony's message appears. He'll be like, guys, I'm up here in space. If there's anyone out there, we need help. Send an Iron Man suit or send someone. We have a minute until the ship explodes. I have Nebula on board. She's severely injured. We need help. And Steve's gonna be like, Thor, use the Bifrost. And Thor's gonna like grab Stormbreaker, put on his whole suit, and use the Bifrost to teleport out of there. Cuts back to the ship. Tony's like lost all hope, and then suddenly the Bifrost comes crashing through the roof. Thor will be like, get in. Tony will help Nebula into the Bifrost because she's obviously severely injured. And they will jump right back to Earth. And Tony and Nebula will collapse onto the ground. And the Avengers will approach them, and then a hand will come in off screen. Tony will take it, he'll be lifted up, and it will be Steve. And he'll be like, Tony, Steve. And it'll be like, after all this time. And then Rocket will come running over to Nebula, and he'll be like, what happened to them? Because he would assume that she's seen them, and she'll be like, Rocket, they're all gone. And Rocket's just gonna have like this very emotional look on his face. Because obviously that's really crushing for him. Bruce will be like, okay, we need to get you to the hospital, or we need to get you to the medical bay. And then Rhodey will run in, he'll help Tony stand, and then, as that happens, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Cole, and Kai will return, and everyone will be there. The whole team will be back together, and Tony will be like, so, the team's back together, and it'll be like some Avengers music, da 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 da, da da da, and then that's where that episode's gonna end. So, don't have names for them yet. The first one's Ashes of a New Beginning. Someone commented saying that it should be Ninjago and Avengers Beginning of the End. I think that's going to be the name of the series, Beginning of the End. Good title suggestion, thank you. It'll be called Beginning of the End. Episode 1's Ashes of a New Beginning. I'll start animating it soon. I just wanted to share with you the plot here. I have, as you can tell from the description here, I have a good idea of what the dialogue and the script will be. But I just wanted to share with you the finished story for episodes 2 and 3. Suggest titles for them in the comments. And let me know, do you think I should have the Thanos part at the beginning of episode 5 or the beginning of episode 2? And let me know if you think I should have the Tony saying to Nebula, whatever, we'll do it, whatever it takes, at the beginning of, in episode 2 or in episode 3. So let me know all your suggestions in the comments below, and I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.